Din cele peste 150 de tulpini de virus papiloma uman, 9 sunt responsabile direct de apariția cancerului de col uterin, de vulvă și de vagin la femei, a cancerului anal și faringian la ambele sexe, dar și a cancerului penian la bărbați. Pentru ele există vaccin, dar când acesta a fost adus în România în 2008, prima campanie de vaccinare a fost un imens eșec. Sute de mii de doze au expirat și au fost distruse atunci.
What you're experiencing in Romania is actually not unique. And there have been countries around the world have had a lot of false starts. Ireland had a program where they had well over 80% of their girls getting vaccinated, and then things ran amok and it dropped down to almost none. So the problems that are happening here are not new. And in the United States, we've had this vaccine since 2006, and we've not done that well. Here we are 18 years later, and we've only vaccinated 60% of our girls, realizing there are places like Scotland, Abu Dhabi, places all around the world that are well over 90%. So although we were first out of the blocks with Australia, we've not done well. I would say the most important lesson we've learned is that doctors haven't communicated well about vaccination. In the United States, if you look at children who are not vaccinated, the number one reason that young people don't get HPV vaccine is because the doctor never brought it up. They never recommended it. So what we want to do is teach our doctors and share with Romanian doctors, is there a right way to do this for your patients? And that's going to vary from country to country. But the mistake we made in the US, we just talked too much, when in fact, the right way to talk, according to the research, is to say, Mama, your daughter is 12 years old today. And at 12 years old, we give all our girls a vaccine that prevents 6 types of cancer. Let's vaccinate her today. Done. Don't say any more. Nobody has to talk about sexuality. If parents have questions, you can answer them. But the research shows that when you approach a parent this way, parents want to do the right thing.
Expertul american crede că această abordare va îmbunătăți lucrurile în a doua campanie de vaccinare contra HPV, care se desfășoară acum în țara noastră.
First of all, I think Romania is doing a lot of the right things. Right? They're vaccinating boys and girls, starting reasonably young. Now, some countries are starting as young as 9, but starting young is a good thing to do because the more opportunities you have, the more success you have. So I think that's right. I think Romania has made a good decision about offering vaccine to women past the usual vaccine age. But I think the most important thing that we have to teach our physicians is how to message properly. And it's not to give the parents a lesson in biology. We don't want to talk about sex. What we're talking about is cancer prevention. And really, that's all that matters. Can we prevent cancer in our young people? I have 2 daughters. And I'm proud to tell you that these 2 girls were the first 2 young women vaccinated in Chicago when the vaccine came out. And the good news there is they don't have to worry about things like cervical cancer in their lives.
O întrebare pertinentă este însă cât va dura această protecție oferită de vaccin? Vom avea nevoie de rapel?
The question of durability is an important question, and the good news here is, so far, and in some studies we're now out past 20 years, it looks like lifelong protection. So that's really impressive. But in fact, boosters are kind of a normal thing with the immune system. It's just like your memory up here, right? Sometimes you need to be reminded. And that's what your immune system does. So again, if we're using that bank robber analogy, it's good to show the public the picture of the bank robber, but let's show it to them again next week so that they remember.
Expertul spune că o mare parte din ezitarea față de vaccinare în general este cauzată de recenta pandemie COVID.
Globally, especially since COVID, we've been seeing a worldwide decline in vaccine confidence. It's certainly been a problem in Eastern Europe, but in reality, it's a problem around the world. People's confidence in vaccines has waned. And it's multifactorial. Certainly with all the talk about COVID, people are just kind of tired about hearing about vaccines. And I think too, one of the things that happened is if you were a healthcare worker, or if you were unfortunate enough to have a family member or someone you cared deeply about who got severe COVID or, heaven forbid, even died of COVID, COVID was very real to you, and you were quite happy to get vaccinated. So if you were one of these people who was fortunate enough not to have bad COVID or lose a family member, COVID was an inconvenience. And if it was an inconvenience, the vaccine was an inconvenience. And then I think people extrapolated to saying, well, if the COVID vaccine's not important, why is any other vaccine important? In many ways in the vaccine world, we're also victims of our own success, right? We've eliminated smallpox. Most people don't know what measles looks like. They don't know what pertussis looks like. Most of the vaccine preventable diseases young doctors have never seen. And so it becomes a natural thing to fear the vaccine more than you fear the disease because you've never seen the disease.
Și mai există un lucru care subminează credibilitatea vaccinurilor, conexiunile de multe ori ciudate care se fac cu ele.
One of the challenges that we have is that when you vaccinate large numbers of people, life goes on. Let me give you an example. When I teach medical students, I will ask them, what's the most common cause of death after an HPV vaccine, in 2 weeks after an HPV vaccine? And the answer is motor vehicle accidents, just like for everybody else. So just because something happens after a vaccine doesn't mean the vaccine caused it. But people have trouble with that sometimes. So I think what we see globally now is with the internet and social media, everybody's an expert, everybody's entitled to have an opinion. So there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation floating around.
De fapt, trebuie să învățăm unde anume găsim informațiile corecte despre vaccinuri și despre eficacitatea lor.
And a lot of people have agendas that make them anti-vax. And one of the ways to recognize anti-vax propaganda is that they're trying to make you fear the vaccine and downplay the severity of the disease. How do you identify fake news? Number one, look at where it's coming from, right? It's like buying a pizza, right? You don't buy a pizza from a Chinese restaurant, right? So if you're looking for good information, go to the good information sites, the WHO, the American CDC, the Romanian Ministry of Health. These are people that are committed to providing good information. Secondly, if you're seeing things that are directed at your emotions, be very cautious because what people are trying to do is inflame you. I think the other thing is there's sort of this tendency in the world right now to go, the heck with you, I'm worried about me. Vaccination is a social contract. These are things we do because we love our neighbors and we love our children. And so if the messaging strays from this is the responsible thing to do for your neighbors, for your family, for the people you love, again, I'd be very skeptical.